So on today for TFC Reviews, we have a Hyundai. We have a 2024 Hyundai Palisade. Go and get those lights a little flash, stepping around front. I love these projector style headlights. Definitely clean and modern. Ugh, a little bird poop there from Avis. Go and take a note. And also, I love these LED daytime running lights. Definitely very clean, modern, just like this rocker panel treatment with that chrome. Stepping around back, this is an H-track model, so it is all-wheel drive. This one came all the way up from Florida, so a little bit of a distance there. Another little flash of the lights. Have to say, Hyundai really knocked it out of the park with this one. It's a very clean, modern-looking 3-row SUV. Very popular segment. Let's check out that interior. Love also that LED treatment there on the side view mirrors for your turn indicators. Stepping up into this 2024 Hyundai Palisade, and have to say, the interior is just as clean and modern as the exterior. So far, so good.
So the Hyundai Palisade. I'm gonna go ahead and do a first impressions review of this Hyundai Palisade. I've never actually rented one of these yet, and basically you can think of it as a big Hyundai Santa Fe, and funny enough, it actually does not drive that big, so that's one of the first impressions that I did notice. It feels more almost mid-size than, full size. Definitely nowhere near as big as like a, that Yukon Denali or even an Expedition or anything like that. It's more, I don't know, maybe like a big Explorer or something, but the back seems more roomy than an Explorer, so it might be like large, mid-size, small, full-size. Maybe that's the category. Maybe that's where it actually competes, has a little point of differentiation, being a large mid-size. But anyway, first impressions, it's a Hyundai. It's not bad. I typically think, Hyundais today are a lot better than what they used to be. And they've really done a much better job over the years. There are some little cheap parts here. Like this is okay. It's, soft touch material. This is kind of a funny texture here. It's not bad. The steering wheel, I had that rant on Hyundai steering wheels of the past before, and this one has an interesting leather material. It's way better than whatever that plastic, I don't know, garbage wrapping paper, I don't even know what the hell it was, type of material they used to have like in the early or in the mid 2010s, like on a Hyundai Santa Fe, or not Santa Fe, but a Sonata. Maybe they had them on Santa Fe's too, but it was gross. This actually feels, not bad. It'd be fine, for a road trip or, just daily driving. This here, though, was a funny material on the door card. I don't quite know what they're doing here, but it's very simple, fairly basic interior. It's not going to offend anybody. This is kind of a cool little design here with the vents. And again, you have a nice, everything has screens these days. So we'll go ahead and start that up and go ahead and see what it's like to start up a Hyundai Palisade.
Says that are being delivered farther north. And so what are your teams actually doing?
So not in the much of like startup graphics, which is fine. That's just kind of like a cherry on top kind of thing. Something will probably cause some sort of software glitch in the future on other brands, but very simple. One thing that I find that's almost too simple is this gauge cluster. I've been trying to find if you can add, if it's configurable. I can't find any of the ways to maybe configure it. I went through this for a little bit. In the comments, please let me know if there are ways to maybe adjust it. The only way I could maybe find was going here into setup, and then I thought I was onto something, maybe here at vehicle. One thing I also noticed, this has about 18,000 miles on it. There you go. But the screen is a little laggy, so I don't know if it's just because of this model. Maybe it needs like a reboot or something, but after about 18,000 miles, this is a little bit laggy. Maybe it needs, a nap overnight or something, and after I go on my trip tomorrow, have something different to report back. But I thought I was onto something here, cluster, and then it gave you these theme selections. I was like, oh good, look, there's some gauges, there. So when I click on that, go ahead and zoom back out. So on theme A, go to theme B. All it did was change the color. Go ahead and go to theme C, just changes the color. And there's nothing. I did this link to drive mode, which all that does is when you change this, it just changes the color. There's no gauge. The gauges don't really change. There's no other type of, I can't think of the word. It's not very configurable. And again, I'm kind of contradicting myself, I feel a little bit, because I tell you everyone how much I don't. Screens are fine, I'll put it there, but I don't, just know that they're not there for you. They're not there to like really make the experience. There's an alternative agenda there. It's to save cost. Screens are a lot cheaper to put all this type of connectivity, all these different types of bells and whistles and everything into a screen versus having secondary buttons for it. So just know that going into it, it's a lot cheaper to do this than to make individual gauges that have physical components. So just be mindful of that, and also the potential cost for, when that screen decides to, start going out. Kind of, again, a case in point, I've been in numerous Hyundais and Genesises and Kia products, and this is probably the most laggy screen I have been in. So I'm hoping it's just like related to this model, and it's not like indicative of once you get close to 20,000 miles, which is not very many, your screen's going to start to have some functionality issues, or at least might still work, but it's not going to be as crisp and fast as it was on day one. So anyway, initial driving dynamics, I ran through the different sport modes on my quick little time with it so far. And sport mode, it does tighten up the steering. Throttle response is better, and it does have enough like pickup, it feels. I'll put in like the horsepower and torque ratings up there tomorrow when I go through my longer what's it like to live with on a road trip, and a little bit longer with the vehicle. But so far it's not bad. Like, I still hold by it that the American brands are in trouble this year. Again, I'll put what it competes with. I'll have to look that up tonight, but it's much, it's a much more modern design. It's a much more just for the same money, maybe even like less, just kind of a nicer place to be than it is in like, that Buick on something, Enclave, on Envoy. No, I think it was the Enclave. It wasn't a Rendezvous. They got rid of those. I think it's an Enclave. That thing was horrible. I don't even know what they were thinking. That just needs to go out to the pasture. But this, this is nice and modern. Nice size for a family. It has like dual zone or multiple zone climate control, it looks like, or at least one big zone for the back. So your kids won't be sweating to death or be freezing back there or anything. So that's nice. One really fun party trick, because I'll wrap this up pretty quick, is the cup holders here. So when I got in, I was like, well, what is this? But luckily everything is pretty intuitive. This is, it says push, so go and push it, and that's fun. Probably will break in, by the time this thing has like 30,000 miles, because it's kind of flimsy, plastic. But you have your charging pad there, and nice, like, very simple push, which again, if you're getting into like a new vehicle then that you haven't driven ever before, it is nice to kind of just have like that very just direct what you do, push, nice and easy. And so, but no, it drives decent, and yeah, we'll go through all of this. It does feel, it's like, I went through it pretty quickly. It does feel it's missing a couple features compared to like other Hyundai. So I don't know if this is just like a lower model. It does have like this maybe leather. It feels more kind of like, you know, that synthetic stuff. You know, like they put like in a Mercedes or even like a Volkswagen or something. M-Bucks, I think that's what they call it. M-Tech, something like that. But so it doesn't really feel like leather, but you know, I think it's a nice alternative to cloth because it's definitely easier to keep clean. But during the summer, it might get a little hot. I know we have heated seats, but I didn't see ventilated seats in this one, so that could be a problem for you on hotter days. It might not be very forgiving when that temperature starts spiking and you're in shorts and sticking to those seats. So that is going to wrap it up for today. I'll come back with a much longer review after I get this thing on the road for a while. I think it actually does have adaptive cruise control, so that's always like a win for me. It should be just standard on every single car these days, but you know, the Americans don't seem to have well, I'm American, but you know, the American car companies don't seem to have figured that one out yet. But I think even the German companies too sometimes like charge for it, which I just think is just so cheap. Like, this is a Hyundai. Everyone should have adaptive cruise control. However, I did not test it on the highway. I'm guessing it's adaptive. You know, you have like your, you know, distance there, and this is also for your lane keep assist. So we'll test it tomorrow. If it holds true, then I will rant about that for every single car that does not have adaptive cruise control. This is a Hyundai, and if it has adaptive cruise control, then it's just no excuse. Every car should have that standard. So that will wrap it up for today, and we will see how we feel about this one after we get her on the road. Okay, so I'm back. I had to actually go ahead and Google it. This drive cluster is actually kind of bothering me a tad. I'm usually not that neurotic or anything. However, having the speedometer, miles per hour to the left, and the RPMs to the right, usually I like it the other way around. So I did Google it to see if this is actually, you could actually configure it. And there were some videos out there. Go ahead and YouTube it. I can put a link in the description. And in the Hyundai Palisade Limited, you should be able to go here to setup, I believe he said, here to vehicle, how we did earlier, go here to cluster, and maybe go here to theme selection. However, he had 4 themes. I only have 3. And when he was clicking through these, it actually did give him some nice gauges, digital gauges, and then actually kind of a fun like cube situation going on, which seemed kind of fun. So this might actually just be a more of a base model. So, which for a base model, actually, it's not that bad equipped. I will give it to them for that. One thing, little nuance thing, so it has this fun little kind of like push button transmission selector, so that's a little bit kind of special, I guess, to Hyundai. I can't believe I said like those words in a sentence, special Hyundai. Anyway, we're not in the past anymore, I guess. This is definitely modern times when you're saying something special in a Hyundai. But anyway, that's that. I just have to live with it. It is something I would definitely make sure if I did end up, buying one of these or something, or leasing one, I would want that to be upgraded to, like, I guess it's some sort of package, maybe, or maybe this is just old software. I don't know. But I definitely would want to be able to configure that to have more traditional gauges, because just a digital readout, and again, having that, I'm not a neurotic person, but I like what I like. So anyway, everything lights up pretty much nicely at night. There's not really any ambient lighting, so again, that's why I'm thinking this is more of a base model. But you're gonna get this kind of glow thing down here for, I guess, if you have a purse or something, then you need don't want to lose it. But other than that, we'll definitely come back with some more tomorrow after we get this thing on the road for a bit. And we will see you then.